Hey everyone, and welcome to week 5 of Art Appreciation. This week we are focusing on public art, which of course is defined as art in public places. Most of the art that we've looked at up until now has been shown in museums and galleries. However, I'm sure you know if you walk outside of your house or through a city, there's plenty of murals and sculptures and different kinds of installations out there that you can look at and think about without having to pay to enter a museum or make sure that you're going to a gallery when they're open. So public art has, of course, a way of reaching many audiences, and that is one of the reasons it's so powerful and really important to study. I've been appreciating your journal responses. Some of you have been thinking about, like, what is the value of art, and how do we tell if it's good or not, and how do we interpret its meaning, or what it's all about. Studying public art is really nice because I think it has a shift in how we start to think about the value of it. And because it is always in a public place, it's often talking about the people, people's stories. A lot of it is quite political, trying to shift perspectives and open minds and tell stories of marginalized groups. So we're going to find a lot of different kinds of art here this week, and I hope that some of it will be interesting for you and be a part of following the thread and things that you've been starting to ask questions about and think about. I think you'll probably find some answers this week. So there are generally 5 different kinds of public art. However, I know a lot of you got overwhelmed by trying to remember all the different kinds of art movements. And generally those art movements are just to help give you like a bigger picture of what's going on. So I'm going to talk about the 5 different kinds of public art, but know that many of them overlap and relate to one of each other, and the lines can blur. So don't feel overwhelmed by putting everything into a specific category. I think that these categories just help provide a framework from which to understand the different ways that art can exist in a public space. So number 1 is mural arts. So that's, usually big paintings on the sides of buildings. They can occur in a lot of places, but generally that's a good way to describe it. Sculpture, so a freestanding art object in the city somewhere or out in nature. An installation, so that's something that I think sometimes for me it helps to think about, like maybe like halfway between a mural and a sculpture, or an accumulation of objects that are all placed together. But an installation or an intervention, something that maybe like interacts directly with the things surrounding it, or is a lot of smaller parts installed and put together to create one bigger experience. Socially engaged work. So as I said, a lot of public art is political because it can reach everybody, anybody and everybody who has, anyways, the freedom to walk around outside. And so socially engaged work might be part of a political movement, or it might just be a commentary and critique on what is going on in our culture and our society, whatever city or state that you're in. Usually just talks about current events or historical events that are still relevant. And then integrated into design. So architecture, things that are more of an experience that you can walk into. I think architecture is the best way to describe it. And so those are the 5 general types of public art. First topic this week will be a video, an interview with my friend Eddie, who's also staying here at the Wonder Domes, and they go by the name Sun Visual. Some links below to their work and some of the programs that they're associated with. And then there's going to be a whole list of articles to read and videos to watch. And I did my best to sort them into those categories of the 5 types of public art, but as we said, you know, the lines blur, so sometimes I had a hard time deciding which one it fit into, but take a look through those, and you're going to pick on your own, based on your own interests, which of these videos to watch and articles to read, and of course take notes on and write your response from those. So I had a lot of fun putting this together. There's so much I already knew about, and then a whole bunch that I learned for the first time, which is fantastic. So, you know, I encourage you to take your time, sort through, see what articles and videos jump out to you, and also, if you have the time, to step outside and notice if there's any public art in your immediate vicinity. It's likely there's a mural around the corner, or even a sculpture, or any of these sorts of things. So I encourage you to walk outside and look around. If you're up in Linwood and want to take a trip down to Seattle, there's a number of public art installations in the city of Seattle, as well as in Linwood. So yeah, take some time, take a walk. I know it's probably cold outside, but put your winter jacket on and see for yourself what you can find when you just step outside into the world. All right, that's it. So this is the view of the sculpture garden that my friend Naima and I have been building together here at Wonder Domes for the past maybe 3 years. Now I'm going to narrate while I walk around and get a little closer to each of these plants. So Naima and I are both herbalists and gardeners. So of course we love our plant friends, and when we started coming out here to Wonder Domes, we were wondering about how we could collaborate. And we came up with this idea that because we'd be in the desert and unable to collaborate the way we had previously, before that we had grown a garden together, we talked about growing a sculpture garden. We had actually gone to the outdoor museum, the Noah Purify Outdoor Museum, which is very close by right here in Joshua Tree. And Noah Purify had lived out here and made an entire sculpture yard of trash scraps. It's very easy to come across piles of trash out here in the desert. So Naima and I were very inspired by Noah Purify, and we had access, of course, to a lot of trash and also some paint. Much of the paint was free from the waste center, and a few things we bought our own, but essentially this project was done for free. And we made our own versions of the medicinal herbs that we loved and decided to, air quotes, grow them in this garden. As time went on, we became more and more interested in the local plant life. So this one is inspired by one of the cactuses that grows here. This is one of the earlier pieces I made, the plant valerian. And an echinacea plant. And I also painted this bench with, again, some more of our local favorites, the cholla cactus, the desert marigolds, and over here is a desert 5 spot. So we love that this garden is on our friend's property, and anybody who visits can come and walk through. It's great because some people know about it and wander over here knowingly, but others don't know that this garden is out here. In the distance, you can see where the property is where everybody lives. So it's quite a lot of space between the garden and where most people who come and live and work here convene. So some people have come across it by happenstance on their walks out here and have noted that it's been a really fun surprise to stumble onto. So thanks everybody for checking out my medicinal herb garden, which again is a collaboration between myself and my good friend Naima Morella.